and welcome back to round 2 coverage from the 2023 PDGA Professional World Championships presented by LL Bean. You're watching JomezPro with Nate Sexton, Jeremy Koliing, and Paul Ulibarri.
We're seeing the guys who are experienced doing some experienced things. Ricky Wysocki out there getting on a little bit of a roll. This is the course where he has really done well in the past. I mean, he's just flourished here in Vermont in the past. He's won this event a couple of times, and he is off to a hot start. 6 under is really good. Chris also, he birdied 7 holes on the front 9, just got those 2 bogeys to hold him back. He is 1 back of Ricky's pace, but they are all out there trying to chase down some players in that 17 under range currently. McBeth 1 back of Dickerson, and Barsby, the winner of the 2018 World Championships, just a little bit off the mark right now.
Every one of these guys has great memories here. They've all won big titles, Elite Series or Majors at this venue. So it's a place that's treated all of them really well, and that's kind of every course because they're some of the best players on the planet, but especially courses that have been around and been a fixture on the tour for quite a while.
Hole 10 is the second easiest hole in the course. The only reason it's not the easiest is because hole 6 still exists. Just an easy forehand hyzer for most of these guys. You might see a backhand putter or 2.
And that's going to do wonders for your scorecard if you can knock down a 20-footer. I've seen him do it.
I've seen him do it.
Chris has been throwing this a lot. He's going to try a little Anheuser to flat, get it to come back, and give her an ace run, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh,
a little early.
Nice check. There's that OB waiting for you over there if you get a little bit loose with the hyzer.
I saw Barsby flip this one up on hole 6, Jerm. Let's see if he can get it to push.
Yeah, he's keeping that one wide still. It's moving back towards the pin and just outside bullseye.
Wide's the key here. Keep it wide. It's really hard to miss it so far left.
That blue tent is a good line for the starting spot, and you could see McBeth's drive right out of his hand was heading right over that blue tent in the background. Ricky, right side.
Right side hard. I feel like with a little less pace, that one's in there.
Yep. Just give it a chance to move just a little bit towards the center of the basket, or maybe not have so much of that fast motion there pushing through the chains.
He does have that nose down effect, though, so that catches a lot, actually. That's surprising. That's the first one of those I've seen in a long time from Ricky.
And normally he's pretty good at keeping it in line with the center of the basket as well. 3 other birdies on this one, and Wysocki will tap in the frustrating part, but he seems to still have his head up, and he's got good things going this round, it feels like.
Chris Dickerson has not parred.
Still. And normally it's Wysocki who's on that. We've seen that a lot. It was kind of strange to see him with so many pars in round 1 because he's normally that guy who were like 15 holes. Has Ricky had a par? No, he hasn't. No. 4 bogeys, everything else birdie usually.
Par 4, 595 here on the 11th. The interesting part of the hole starts right about here as it drops down over that little rock wall and gets you to that tricky little green. There's OB down there beyond the basket, which I'm not sure I love, but it does bring in some added little trickiness, and you really have to try to control that speed, try to avoid that roll to stay in there close to the basket. A big drive really does help you here.
Chris has got that really big drive part down. This is really as good as you're going to ever see it.
Man, jump putt
down the hill. One of the tricky things about the design on this course is that there are a lot of areas that they can't use or they can't cut anything down because it's protected marshland areas. And I think that might be the reason why there's out of bounds so close to the pin.
That makes sense. I think the farther you go, the easier it gets, obviously. But there are 2 specific entries into the green. There's a back door on the left side that you'll see the sidearms go through, and then there's an early right side to where you want to throw putter and hyzer in there. And I'm talking over their drives because I feel like these are pretty pretty brainless hyzers through this gap. Sometimes you see them go a little too far and get to the left-hand side, but
Ricky pushing this one deep, and he doesn't like it because it's so wide, but it needs a skip.
I mean, why wouldn't you like that?
It's a huge skip.
And that's
Oh
like
my
you-
gosh.
He's not saying no anymore.
Those are so far. Like that's
one of
just
the
a little
longest,
80-footer down the hill.
Four really great drives. Gregg was the more traditional drive that you're normally seeing. Maybe McBeth as well, but Chris and Ricky are in that top 1% of best drives you're really ever going to see on this hole.
They're all great.
And here's that spot. No worries of the OB at all with
Yes.
that one.
Yes. You certainly can influence how much risk you've got to take by setting yourself up to throw that shot. This is a little riskier.
Yeah. Surprised to see McBeth once again go forehand on a shot that you just normally see him just lace a little backhand putter. I wonder if that has anything to do with that injury.
And you see that thing get up and try to roll a bit. He was fortunate to then catch those roots and stop, but he's still within about 5 feet of the OB line. Gives you an idea of how tight it is. Not really an issue when you drive a par 4 like these two fellas.
And Ricky can just see the pin.
Not only see it, but just a perfect line, like nothing in the way. Love it.
And he does actually acknowledge that he hit Chris's disc, and Chris is aware that he has to put that back where it was. So still inside the bullseye.
And still without a par.
And still without a par.
That's crazy.
This is a much needed birdie here for Barsby.
Yes.
Gets him to 7.
And the star frame for our group, I think it's the third of the round.
I think after this round, you really have to be
There it is, yeah.
you really have to be around that 10 to 12 minimum mark. So Gregg's got a little work to do still, as we see them already crease past that.
Yeah, I guess it's really not that. I mean, 7 under total at this point. A little bit more than a round and a half in. Not bad. Not bad, but
not world championships stuff.
no, not quite there.
Brand new tee here on 12, par 5 this year, 1,055 feet, downhill to start. OB on the left and right side. It's a big drive it's asking for. If you can get 500, you're loving it. Then you have a pretty easy clearance over this OB area into this zone. Even potential for eagle if you really wanted to attack. If you were able to pull 500 off the tee. You can see that little corner of the OB bush is 480. So it's a long shot that it's asking for, and you like to get a little bit of right drift to stay away from that bush.
I applaud the change. It's an interesting opportunity to be able to see a big flat distance shot. A lot of these holes where we see the big distance shots, they're all downhill. This one is slightly downhill, but this one I think definitely rewards a player for going big off the tee. And also it gives us a beautiful shot of the mountains in the backdrop.
Yeah, I think it's more fun than the previous iterations of this hole.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was kind of a basic, boring tee shot in the years past on the 12. I think this sets up as a better par 5 than the old par 4. And it's also nice to get up there by the pond.
I mean, look at those mountains in the background.
It's
too.
beautiful.
Yes. This needs to sit.
It is going to be pushing that OB, and it does find it. If you go another 50 to 60 feet, that OB area actually opens up pretty huge to the left.
He just didn't get any flatness there. And this one's, it's getting a little more, but I think this is risking similar fate.
It's going to be fine.
Yep, but it was certainly risking it.
50, 60 feet farther is like 600 feet, though.
I mean,
like
it said
from that.
480 to that corner. So
Yeah.
where Chris and Ricky are is 550-ish almost.
Yeah.
Huge drives.
A little bit of a tailwind earlier. I don't know if that's if it was playing that way all day or not. As you see, Gregg elect to play short.
Not a bad play.
Yeah, it's going to be probably in the 400-ish, maybe probably shorter than that. 360 to the pin, we'll call it.
This is going to make for a pretty easy par from there if he wants it.
I'm thinking he wants it at this stage.
Kind of needs it.
Ricky keeping it simple with the forehand hyzer.
Yeah, when you have the power to just be able to throw it that 550, 580, going over with the sidearm is very, very helpful because now he only has about 300 at the most into the pin.
Yes. Chris has an opportunity to get a bit aggressive here, but I'm worried he didn't turn it. No, not anymore. He turned it beautifully. I was worried with the height at first, but
now
great
he's got
finish.
I say an outside chance at a big eagle.
What do you think he's got there? 120 to the basket?
90 maybe.
I would say less than that.
Yeah.
I think he's probably in deep C3.
Okay.
So now Gregg, after the position play, laying up, he does a good job to generate a putt from short of that OB area. So that was probably a 400-foot type shot.
Yeah. McBeth, that's going to be up against the hexagon or just short of it. So the par should be saved. Just a little chip shot for Ricky and Chris up here looking for the birdie.
Oh, yeah, he does got a little bit here if he wants it.
He's gotten frisky from this range in the past. This time a little bit soft on the run if it was a run, but easy drop in par. Or birdie coming up.
Gregg for birdie. Just barely too much drop on that.
What are we coming in at on this hole, Jerm?
Right in the middle. 10th most difficult, 4.9 average. Pretty good spread of birdies, pars, and above. And I like the below as well.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like the par 5 that's got opportunity for eagle, and that eagle was achieved by 4 players. Simon Lizotte, Ian Burchett, Colton Montgomery, and Cody Larson.
Wow.
Okay.
Great work, guys.
And only one of those came from outside the circle, and that was Colton Montgomery. The others all inside C1 for the eagle.
Chase card check-in coming, and
Well,
I think we might
I didn't know
get
that
a
was
chance
happening.
to see it.
We get to see it. That's the good part.
I mean, would you rather see it or not? I think the fans would rather see it, even if we already told them that this is probably heading towards Circle 1. We still want to see that. Simon Lizotte getting aggressive from here. Huge drive, but this is still blind.
Yeah.
Watch the angle of Anheuser he has to put on this.
Look how much that fades out to the right. Just absolutely crushed.
Oh, and that's
I don't know
outside.
about C1.
Yeah.
We might have a...
It's edge of C1.
No, that's
his back
edge.
foot is
that's
his
edge.
back foot's
Still a tough putt. Right to left crosswind. Give me that.
Sweet.
Ooh, and he has a fancy card down there. All kinds of different little nuggets.
Grady Shoe, folks.
Let's go Charlotte, North Carolina, baby.
Grady has been off the tour, for a couple years since the birth of his daughter, and he is on one these first 2 days.
Let's not forget that his wife won her world championship here in 2018. So something about the shoes.
Yeah, what a performance, though. I mean, for Grady, obviously all the talent in the world, but not getting the reps, I wouldn't think. And to come out here and play like that, he's got to love his position.
Anyone who's played with Grady, he's got big game.
Hats off or shoes off. I don't know.
Yeah, both maybe.
Well,
both.
my
maybe.
bad.
Montana with my family. When we were bored, my parents would just be like, go outside. That's where memories are made. It's such a part of childhood that I feel like is being lost today, and I have desperately tried to instill that into my kids.
Hole 13, par 3, 390. New mandatory here on the left side. Tighter OB line on the right side. You'd like to throw through here with the right hand backhand and take one skip. But there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of roots, there's a lot of problems.
New basket placement as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And elevated. Was it elevated last year, Paul?
I don't remember.
I don't think it was.
Getting close to 35 of years of the age.
35 of years of the age.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. This hole is playing tougher. I do know that.
Oh, very, very much tougher.
This is I would consider a pretty good shot, and he is outside of the circle.
And obstructed, most likely. It's just super demanding tee shot here.
But it does fit a hyzer pretty well.
Yeah, and but I think you have to go wide like Ricky, coming in with this more extreme angle to access that inside line to really get up in there. That was a nice thing to roll to that spot because I think it's less obstructed from that deeper side.
I think Rick's a little too wide, personally.
A little bit too wide.
I think flat but super overstable is the play.
Yeah, okay. And this...
Little tight. Little sit.
This is a nice roll, I think.
Look at this thing.
Oh, don't do that.
Slow down, slow down.
Stop.
Oh, boy. That is
I
brutal.
regret everything I said about that. That was not a nice roll at all. I thought it was going to stay on cut.
Had nothing to do with Gregg. That was all on you, Nate.
That's terrible luck.
Really, I mean, that's a 90-foot roll.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, man?
I like this. I think
I'm gun shy. I'm not going to say anything right here.
I think that was pretty good.
That's on the edge of...
That was good.
Yeah.
That's in the circle. Well
edge
in.
of greatness.
I mean, pretty good run from there to
Seriously.
hit that gap with a little bid.
He has just never seen one he doesn't like from 80. It's just the consistency that he's able to do it.
Yeah.
Can he stay away from pars?
And he has again.
Look at
What
this.
is happening? How many birdies
No,
is
look at this wobble gobble.
See?
Look, I mean, any way you want to do it, he does it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a soft bid. It rotated opposite direction of the spin somehow.
I think it was at one point upside down.
And it just goes in so soft.
That's
What a putt.
That's 11 birdies already
Yeesh.
for Chris Dickerson.
That was an interesting angle. Looked so close, but Rick had to get the disc out of frame in order to get the height right on the elevated basket. That's a good birdie. He's out here killing it as well.
McBeth, give it to him as well. I mean, 3 birdies on this
Wow.
hole. Gregg
Yeah.
takes the worst roll away ever.
Yeah, seriously. And he was early. He was like not even close to that backside OB, and just the disc did not want to sit down. I'm gonna say, how many birdies over or under 65?
Under.
Over 75 birdies
Wow.
on that hole.
Let me guess. Nicholas Antela was one of them as we check in with him, playing really well.
And
Ooh,
that's
he's going to
that.
have to hit a big putt.
Sure, they're not showing this highlight for a par ski.
Yeah, and then he just hits the chicken euro, and
Rolls up where Gregg was.
yeah, he's cashing.
Bam.
That. Beautiful putt from Niklas.
I love his game. For
I
these courses.
love this guy. Yeah, this guy right here, player to watch.
Simon
He likes
Lizotte
majors too.
on the next hole, 14,
What?
just setting the height record.
Honestly, what? Why would you?
I mean, come on.
I'd like to try
These
it.
guys got to play together.
Just the 2 complete opposite players. Honestly.
Yeah. Both European.
That is true.
That's where the similarities end. And they're great.
And their scores.
It's Simon.
They're basically twins.
6 under in the last
Oh.
5 holes.
He
I was
goes to
gonna
the
say,
knee and just
jeez.
cashes it.
That is such a hard putt from there. There is not a lot. Little tiny angles to get that putt all the way up there.
He's got
Into
the
the
3
hole.
C's going for him, man. Cool, calm, and collected. Niklas Antela. He's a cool cat. And he just steps up at majors, doesn't he? 4 players at 17 right now.
We just saw this one, hole 14, par 3, 345, OB down that right side. Tons of little trees near the basket. I think the line that sees the most success is the just kind of barely flip up right at it up the middle. Try to hit that main gap. You can push into circle 1 before you have to challenge a tree, ideally. The hyzer is a little bit more luck related. We'll see what these guys go with.
What about the sky?
Yeah, what
pilot
about you just
super
go to
shot?
That no luck there. I mean, if you can go in through the top,
Throw a satellite shot.
Yeah.
Oh, boys.
Oh, par, huh?
could
We
be.
could see. Well, he could also get the bogey and keep the streak alive.
Could also
Or
just
bird.
make it. Rick going
I like the play.
straight
Inside.
at it.
I like the play. It's going to be, what, 30 feet? Maybe a little bit more?
Something like that.
It's got to get lucky through there.
Yeah, that's. Oh, boy.
This is what you worry about.
And
That's
if
a-
it rolls
that's
the
a-
right direction.
Yeah, pretty good
When
roll.
have you ever seen him roll to the left?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
that-
not
ever.
done. It's
Uh-oh.
not done.
Wait a second.
No way.
No.
chance.
Okay. It somehow
Wow.
rolled to the left 2 times.
Yeah, I mean, once you see it roll, fortunate to be in bounds, I suppose. But bad roll either way. This needs to hook up quick.
That's got to get a little bit of love. It doesn't get it. That's going to be early OB for Gregg, and that brings the double bogey into play. Tough up and down with all those trees.
Oh, no.
There's not a lot of nice lines over there, I'll tell you.
It's a long jump putt from down there, but I like the play. Hit the gap, get in there.
All right. He's got a line. He's got a line.
Sit.
Oh. I thought he was way farther back.
That is just unbelievable to go that long until your first par in the wind on this course. Ricky
putt.
hits the birdie.
And at this point, he knows he's got something special going.
Yeah, only 2 pars in the last 9 holes for Ricky. And that will indeed be a double bogey. And good up and down par scramble for McBeth.
And the first gray for Chris.
Grady shoe.
Speaking of grays,
Smooth power. Always been a feature for him. And that's nice. Nice big hyzer right to the perfect landing zone.
and there's his wife out there in full support.
What a shot. Parked.
And that's going to get Grady to 18 under.
That's a nice little score through 2 rounds on these difficult courses.
Oh, yeah. Average of a 9 under a round.
Look at
I
that
feel like
back
that's a
nine.
nice pace.
Look at that back 9.
Wow.
What do you think? 9s all the way through will get it done?
I think it surely could.
Yeah, that's an extraordinary pace. I mean, if the wind picks up on Fox, 9 under is a hot round. He goes 12. So,
Wow.
big number there for Grady, shooting him up into first place at the moment. 18 under par is now the new number 2 beat.
Hole 15, par 3, 320. Straight ahead to start, and then a bit of a late break to the right. Small fairway the whole way up. Backhand turnover, forehand driver.
Where do you want to skip?
I mean, a little short of the basket's the best way.
Wait a second.
I think
That's you, Nate.
But it said hot round. How could it be me?
Well, that's pretty
Oh.
hot.
That part was hot.
that's hot.
That part
That's
was
really
hot.
hot.
Yeah, see that double bogey? I went Gregg style, but I didn't get any birds at all for like the hour and a half before this.
Well, you just got 3 of them or 2 of them right there.
Yeah, tossed in the ace. So that was fun. I got a highlight.
Ricky.
And Rick's looking good to do it as well. Oh,
And that's how
yeah.
you play it.
Early skip.
think Grady needs to look out for the hot round because Rick's kind of on pace right now.
Yes, he is.
And Chris, too.
This
Hurry.
is pushing that left side. Needs to start. Oh, Heiser's in the perfect time. Boy, this player is en fuego.
He doesn't like pars. I noticed that.
One more look. Bullseye.
It's a fun little 3-hole stretch the course puts you on here. The introduction of the woods on 14's green, 15 and then 16, and then you're right back in the open where you've been the whole round.
Yeah.
But I like the little introduction of it. It's a
yeah.
nice balance.
And along with 2 and 3 in the early part of the course.
Sure.
But I like the mix, absolutely. Gregg takes a tough kick there.
And things are not going Gregg's way today.
This needs to get down. Does that pretty well.
Paul from about 55. Not going to work. It didn't roll, though, so that's good. Looked like it had that potential. Can Ricky get another?
Yeah.
Yes. That's a scary guy when he starts whispering to himself, let's go. And seen that before.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of that. That's for the par, and we haven't even gotten to Chris's drive yet. A bullseye tap-in birdie for him will get Chris to 15 under.
Ricky talks about momentum a lot, and I feel like he uses it a lot.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about momentum when you get it so often. Oof, 16.
Yeah, one of the hardest on the course for sure. The par 4, 710 feet with terrible rough on both sides, as you can see, and some difficult footing late in the fairway as well. You'd like to go with that backhand fairway driver or mid-range, hit it hard, keep it straight the whole way. If you can get that dream shot, then birdie kind of becomes possible. But most of the shots you see off this tee pad are putting you in the scramble zone, and you're just trying to figure out a way to manufacture a par.
Got to give a shout out to Evan Scott, who also aced hole 15 just a few holes after you did, taking some of your birdie pot or your ace pot
Oh,
money.
yeah.
What
Hey,
the heck,
he's
man?
welcome to it. He is welcome to it.
That's a 50-50 split right
Awesome.
there where Ricky just landed.
And I believe Furman Generators are giving away a generator for all the aces that are hit at the World Championships as well. Or that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start doing something out in the wildlands, man. Something that needs some power.
Good shots there for Ricky and Chris. Paul pulling this down the right side, needs to get overstable or just get the greatest kick back to the fairway.
Tough footing. I mean, this whole fairway is tough footing.
One thing that they did take into account is that Gregg kicks down. They did spread a lot of mulch in a lot of those areas where it was heavily rooted.
So here you're just looking for a little bit of progress up this fairway. Maybe actually kind of a lot if you're Gregg. It looks like it drops in the middle. He's frustrated. Oh, wow. There's some weird footing for you.
Yeah. This can be a tricky decision, but he elects to go big.
I don't know about that one.
And
I don't see OB.
he stayed safe somehow.
Wow.
Punch through it, perhaps.
Whoa, what a break. That disc definitely knows who owns it.
This dude is trying to birdie this one. Amazing shot. Flex shot from Chris out of the gap. Ricky's got room to swing the backhand. That's a good sign for his chances.
I mean, can he just stand still for 12 uphill?
That is so
That looked
impressive.
like a half swing.
That is such an impressive throw. I mean, stand still.
It didn't even look like he put any pop into it.
The timing was just perfect. Everything about that release, so incredible. Gregg with an awkward angle, forcing the flex, and that's a good result. He's going to have outside C1 for the par, but that was a great throw. And where is Paul even at?
I think he's pretty short still.
Is he on the other side of the creek?
Oh, yeah. He's got
Okay.
work to do.
So that's a long par putt coming.
That's going to be another red mark on his card. That's not the right time to do it, especially when you got a Chris and a Ricky on your card just absolutely mauling this back nine.
And just a whole host of guys already in the clubhouse at 17, 18 under. I mean,
Oh, no.
No way.
oh, boy.
A couple misses on this back nine for Ricky inside the circle. And
Oh.
then Chris misses his putt. Who would have thought that both of those great approaches would turn into pars?
Not me. Bogey for McBeth. Bogey for Barsby. And disappointing pars for the other two guys.
It's hard to ever call a par on 16 disappointing, but those two definitely are. We can look at 17.
class. I'm trying to learn what I can here. I cannot
This-
figure out where this basket is.
I
Looks
think-
wide.
Yeah, I don't think this
Oh,
is
don't
great.
learn from this one. Roll. Oh, what a roll.
How on earth? Mita.
And well inbounds. And just taking advantage of a great break. Well done.
Triple C's, man. Under for Ricky with 2 to go. Chance to get to 13.
Hole 17, par 3, 390 blind, just sort of unbelievably left. As you're standing on this tee, you're just kind of, oh yeah, it's over around the corner. I know it's around the corner. And then you'll throw these big hyzers up sometimes, and they move left out of sight, and then you see a red flag, and it's not left enough. And it's just sort of a interesting shot shape, really. I mean, right around 400 feet.
Well, you can be exactly as left as you need to be, but just be too long and be out of bounds.
Yes.
And so it is a very interesting mix of how much hyzer do I put, how much height do I put, what's the spot in the background, do I go mid-range, do I go fairway driver, do I go distance driver?
Yeah, you could.
I think the angle is match the tree line flat,
And tight.
kind of like that. That's a little high, and that's going to the left side. I think if you match that angle, it'll kind of like push hyzer around there, and it's not spiking and going forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. A little wider.
Yeah, that's going to be okay, I think, but not great.
Scary putts over there. This is
Yeah, I like
flatter.
that.
Yeah,
That's-
certainly flatter, like you're talking about. And it does get a better result.
I don't always speak gibberish. Back to back for Ricky. I mean, that is a hard putt from back there, but given the situation, those are kind of the moments we're used to, and we're used to Paul making that too.
Yes.
And Chris does.
Capitalizes. Beautiful putt. Not easy from there either.
13 birdies for Chris now on the day. Next one from Gregg.
So with all the hard holes on the course, what does 18 come in as?
Well, 18 is right up there with 7 and 9 and 16, just about a quarter above par, 4.28. It comes in as the third most difficult, but it is always one of those holes where you could just see yourself taking a huge number. We've seen Chris Dickerson suffer from the early right pool and then never crossing in bounds and essentially having to rethrow right by the tee. And you also don't want to go too far left out of bounds, but if you are going to make a mistake and you are nervous on the tee, the mistake is to go OB in the road. That way you do have an angle and a chance to save your par. You just cannot pull your drive right.
Niklas at 19 under right now. Solo
Flipping
leader.
Up. I don't know if it's high enough to be great. It is okay. That is pushing it though.
Watch the difference in these flights. See how low? Now look at the angle here.
Yeah, Simon's shot just can't be bad. If it does go B, it's in a good spot. It's still so far down the fairway. Niklas having to access the inside line.
Oh, no.
Throws a beautiful shot and just does not get rewarded for it.
Ew.
Horrible break.
That was all high with a nice stall.
It had a great touch on it. Yeah, it just didn't need to do that. Meanwhile, Simon.
Wow.
This is a guy you do not want to mess with. Looking for his first major ever. Here's Nicholas, who's just made everything all day.
Don't do that.
Clean round to that point. First bogey of the day.
And you just didn't see it coming after the perfect drive.
Nearly a perfect back nine.
How about a perfect back nine for that guy?
Yeah,
Wow.
9 under with the 1 par and 16, but the eagle back on 12. Simon Lizotte getting his name right there in contention.
The wind looks to be down.
Oh, this looks great.
Yeah, the height is good, the width is good, and the result is also good. And that's going to be a little bit tight on that right side, though, and Chris is going to have to make a decision here. I think he's going to have to go down the middle or Spikeiser.
A little bit lower and tighter line here from Gregg.
And this is going to be out of bounds left, I'd imagine.
Oh, you're right about that.
I thought it could have had a chance, but it was just a little bit too stable.
It's just too low, I think. If you go high, it's just the disc wants to put the brakes on or...
Yeah. Yeah, disadvantage of that flatter line, I think,
See,
is
watch-
that you are going to play skip.
This is going
probably
to just
gonna
dig, I bet. See how that just dug? That
Yeah.
high line is just going to take all that energy out. When you go low like Gregg did, it just wants to skip.
When you're right, you're right.
Dig.
Easy dig. All kinds of stability.
It kind of looked like he backed off on the distance a little bit, Paul. I think I'm seeing what you're saying about the way that he's attacking these shots. It definitely seems a little bit more tentative.
I wonder what he's going to do from back there. There is a Spikeiser play over the trees right.
Yeah, it looks like he's lining that up.
It's a pretty easy play, really. I'm wondering if he's playing for that shot on purpose on this hole in particular. Like lay it up short and then just go over.
Yeah, take away the fear off the tee shot.
Yeah, and really on the second shot, there's nothing really can go wrong with no wind. Barsby's shot there, for example, is kind of scary because there's power lines all over the place.
Yes.
There's the out of bounds left. You don't want to kind of like turn the disc.
And look at that gallery there. I mean, the prospect of hitting somebody is huge if you turn your shot over. You will have that putt to get to 17 under. To move him onto a lead card spot. And Chris has the same fate. If he birdies this hole, I think it puts him in the top 4. And the tie would go to them for having the hot second round. Huge putt for Ricky. Edge of circle, maybe just outside. What a round.
Yeah, needed it. Big time performance to get himself right back in contention.
And that putt for par for Gregg. A day he'll likely soon forget. Or hope he can.
There's a good birdie. Close out Paul's round.
Is right there in contention for sure. Within 6 of the 18 under mark. 2 pars, 2 bogeys for Chris Dickerson, and a whole bunch of those other things.
Wow.
I think this is a good lesson for us to learn about these players in particular, that it doesn't matter what they shoot the first round. They were right there. They were 4 back, and now we have 2 that are potentially on the lead card. Did they both? Yeah, 2 that are going to be on the lead card.
12 unders.
Wow.
And Nicholas had an opportunity to get to 13 under had he stayed put and got the birdie.
Just don't roll away.
Just don't roll away. What incredible scores on a windy day. Brady Shue tied at the top with Nicholas Antela, followed right behind with several players at 17 under. But we liked Ricky Wysocki and Chris Dickerson enough that we said we're going to keep them around for the first lead card, actual true lead card here at the 2023 World Championships.
And you see how they snuck onto the lead card. Let's not forget that McBeth fella's down there chilling. He ain't done yet. I'm gonna take a guess and say we might see his face again.
I want to shout out my wife real quick, who told me something I've never heard before when I finished my round. Sweetheart, you jumped 128 spots. Never heard those words before. Thank you, Jules. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. We are almost halfway through the event. 2 rounds out of 5 in the books here. And we have a close one, as we expected.
Thanks, everybody, for watching from here in Vermont. We'll be back with you soon enough for round 3 from the PDGA World Championships presented by LLV.